So our testimony
Yes.
en route with my mom.
Yeah.
And it's really important that people get how great Root is. Root Brands.
Well, we should obviously illustrate where she was and where she is now. And
which obviously with these photos, we show her before and afters.
Right. She was at a point where if there was an intervention, if nothing had happened, it's fair to say that she probably would have passed.
Yes. It was, I mean, she was really, really in bad shape. She had severe dementia. She looked always like she was like no one was home, right?
Yes.
Just kind of spaced out. Didn't have an appetite.
Right.
You couldn't get her to go out anywhere. She needed to be wheelchaired because she was so weak. She fell several times, ended up in the hospital because she fell and cracked her head.
Yeah, she lacked use of one arm because of a stroke that had happened while she was in medical care.
While she was in the hospital, And then she was always in diapers because there was no way she could make it to the bathroom. She had severe sciatic nerve pain. And so she had all these issues: anxiety, heart issues, diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol.
As though someone saw a dam that was holding back all of her conditions, and it broke all at once, and so it all flooded in. So she was in really bad shape.
She was in really bad shape. And she kind of like she when she stood, she was kind of she didn't have a
she couldn't straight. Yeah, she couldn't stand straight. And she basically just laid down the whole day.
She mostly laid down. Yeah. She was always on a couch because she really couldn't get on a bed.
Mm-hmm.
She just was in too much pain, and so that was kind of her life: diaper, wheelchair bound.
Yeah, that's where she was, and. Even those closest to her were thinking in terms of caring for her until it's the end. This is it.
Possibly putting her in
hospice or
more of a nursing situation. Yeah. She was just really bad, and so when I went out there was in August of last year in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
So I arrived on August 18th, 2020, that evening. By then she's already taken all her meds. On the 19th, what I did. My way of doing things is I didn't understand why I was going to keep giving her something that I knew through the research we did, that all those things shrink the brain. And actually, you'll see the pictures here where they have a scan of her brain that clearly says that her brain had shrunk.
Mm-hmm.
And when I looked at all her medication she was on, those meds caused brain shrinkage, including antihistamines that she was on, over-the-counter NyQuil, all those things.
The blood pressure medication, the cholesterol medication.
Yeah, all those things actually contributed to the shrinkage of the brain, which, by the way, shrink the brain, you get dementia, right? And they all had the same side effects.
Right.
Forgetfulness, foggy mind, insomnia, which she had really bad. She couldn't sleep at all. She can go days. I mean, she would go days
no sleeping.
With no sleep. No matter what they gave her.
Yeah.
They gave her all sorts of prescriptions and none of it worked. So when we got her en route, I got it on the 19th of August of 2022, and we are now May 1st, right, of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened was I took her prescriptions, and my sister was kind of a little freaked out, and I was like, and tossed it.
They were gone.
And that morning, the very first thing I did was I gave her the Trinity. I gave her 10 drops under her tongue, which that would be... Actually, it's closer to 20 drops because I do a full dropper.
Yeah, it was desperate times, desperate measures. Yeah.
So, under her tongue. And then right after that, I give her a 0N. And right after 0N, I gave her a full-on Restore. And that's what... In the beginning, I gave her 2 Restores. Now I just give her 1.
Mm-hmm.
But it's what I did daily. And then I started giving her Relief Greens. I started adding other stuff, but the first things were those. And when I did that, I would give her, obviously, I would make the juices and stuff. But I got rid of all the junk she was eating. It was just like she had so much junk.
She had a lot of bad habits, yeah.
Real bad habits, down to even smoking. She hasn't done any of that since she's moved here last year in September.
Well, and so within a week, though, her arm that she couldn't use...
Well, 4 days, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was even less than a week.
So in 4 days, her arm went from being like this to went back to normal down. There was no curve to it.
She can use it.
In 4 days, she was no longer wearing diapers. In 4 days, she did not need a wheelchair at all. In 4 days, she was throwing herself on the bed because it was high. She was like, and tossed herself. That was funny. In 4 days, she had, as you guys saw in the pictures, she had great posture.
Mm-hmm.
She was no longer hunched over. And by the 4th day, she had no more sciatic nerve pain at all.
And it's clear her body was starved
It was
starved for the
Yes.
nutrition that
Yeah.
Rue provided.
So all those things went away. Her dementia, she's now focused. She went from not going out at all to loves to go out all the time.
Yeah, it gets frustrated if she can't go out now.
Yeah. She couldn't really walk. She had to be wheelchair. We walk
Yes.
everywhere. And she walks with some pep in her step. So she had all these things going on, right?
Right.
So high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, all those things. In fact, when she first, sometimes she'll miss and get some drizzle on the floor. And what we noticed is in the beginning, it was kind of, when you go to clean it, it was kind of sticky.
The urine.
Her urine. Because she was diabetic. Now it happens, it just fades away, where you have to just smile when it happens. It's not a lot, it's just that she has a habit. She gets up in the midst of when she's done, and it's like, just wipe while you're sitting. I wipe when I'm sitting. I don't have to stand up to wipe. But
little information about Lourdes.
Anyway, we're all different, right? But anyway, and that's how it happened. But there wasn't much sticky. So now I know her. She's not so sweet inside her blood.
Yeah.
And she hasn't had any medications, not even for diabetes or anything. She hasn't had any episodes of anxiety attacks. She hasn't had any episodes of, because she had heart medications. She hasn't been on heart medication. She hasn't had any episodes.
No, it's funny because she's still a work in progress. But the good news is,
because sometimes she's repetitive.
Yes, she does forget things still.
So she still forgets things. Not as bad anymore.
No.
Before it was just like, oh my gosh.
But she's sharp enough to remember, where she is now, and who I am, by the way. And it's such a small thing when it feels like a small thing.
Right,
but she didn't think she thought I was some other person. She kept calling me by another name.
Yeah. So, but now she doesn't. But that's the thing. So her memory has improved. She still has dementia, but it's not so severe. So we know that things are happening, that she's improving because she's got better memory. The only thing, her problem is now, before she couldn't even look for things. Now she just hunts for stuff all the time.
We call it her Easter egg hunting.
Yeah. So, before she couldn't do anything. Now she's like lifting things, looking at stuff, and so that kind of stuff. You're like, Mom, just... And so, but it's her always hiding things.
Yes.
Which is part of the dementia, where she has to hide.
Yeah, she feels like something's going to happen if she doesn't hide.
So she needs to hide it.
Her shoes or
Someone's
whatever.
going to come in and they're going to take her stuff, and so she hides everything, and then she forgets where she hid it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, she knows, and we always said, man, if they ever needed her to hide something, and
government secrets or any of that,
I said, can you just hide this so that we can't find it?
Right. She's your gal. Yeah, she's the one.
She's one of those people, but she's improved.
The thing that our big takeaway with this is, I would rather this. I would rather her hide things because she feels like something's going to happen than her being immobile. I would rather her.
She was immobile. Her memory was shot.
I'd rather her forget that she's living with us from time to time. And that's not constant, by the way. That's just every now and then she forgets that she's in a different state than she was.
Oh, does she still know?
Oh, you're right. It's been maybe weeks since.
Yeah, it's been at least a good month or two that she's.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I would rather every now and then she forgets something small like that.
Yeah, then she was not home.
Then she wasn't home. She was vacant.
She was very vacant.
I would rather she be spicy with us from time to time when she's angry about my grandson screaming or something.
She's like, oh.
Yeah, then then just having her a vegetable. So obviously she's leaps and bounds, and she just keeps getting better and better.
And the thing is, with this short of time.
Yes.
We're talking in 4 days. So many things happen, and now
hasn't even been a year.
Not even a year, and she remembers. She remembers all her friends.
Yes.
There was one, in fact, I told my friend, because there was this person on TV that looks just like her and sounds just like her and happens to have her name. And so Mom was like, yeah, she talks bad about me. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I said, Mom, that's not your friend's daughter. So when I called my friend and told her that, she goes, oh, that's good, because at least she remembers me now, because I guess before she came here, she didn't remember her.
Yeah.
So when she would call her and stuff, she would just hang up on her because she didn't remember her.
Right.
And so she's like, I'm glad she remembers me now.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's one of those things where even the naysayers in our lives, that they come to visit her now and they see a big difference with her, and we're able to go places. We went to the beach a couple weeks ago with her and had a day at the beach.
She loves going out.
Yeah.
She loves the beach. Yeah.
Yep. So
we had fun.
Yeah. So
now we can actually enjoy her without us saying she can't go out anywhere.
You know, it's funny. It's one of those weird things where not very many places in your life can you actually point at something and say that did this.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Root Brands, we know for a fact it was the introductions to Root Brands
Yeah.
that did what it did.
Because we can't say, well, she was on her meds. She
No.
wasn't.
No, she
was
wasn't.
not on any of her meds.
Right.
And the fact that she's not been on any cholesterol medication, or
Right.
high blood pressure medication, or heart medication, or diabetes medication, or anxiety medications, or because she had a very long
Or
list of
insomnia
medications.
medications. Or,
None of that. Everything we've been giving her has literally helped her, and Root Brands is just like
No,
amazing.
it's a miracle. It's a miracle in a bottle. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. It's
Yeah.
a fact.